So good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Welcome to the week. We've been speaking last week about this idea of, as you know, the wall. We spoke about this concept yesterday as we related it to the story of the spot last week, as we related it to the story of the spies. Where we left off last week was this concept of why is it that we have such a hard time being able to go into that wall? And so I want to start talking about a new concept that's very complicated. I don't fully have it, but we're going to talk it through. It's this idea of enjoying the wins. This is one of those things that if you get it off by like an inch, you're out. You know, there are things like this where a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, you're off. You got to hit the bullseye and you got to work to like find your spot and then keep on moving it to the bullseye. Because if you live a few degrees to the right or to the left of this bullseye, but if you multiply it by the trajectory, you're out. And this is the concept of enjoying your wins. You see some people that they win once and like we never forget it. You know what I'm talking about? Like they win once. And like everyone, they talk about the win. Whether it's they did something good or they were, rewarded something once. And it just, everybody knows about it. They keep on bringing it up. It never ends. Then you see other people where they're doing amazing things. And like, forget that they don't say anything. Like they don't even recognize it. This comes a lot when I get emails from incredible parents. There are some like real heroes out there. Challenging lives, challenging relationships, challenging children, challenging financial situations. And these heroes are like holding the family together. And they don't appreciate their wins. They don't really understand that getting through the day was like more challenging than winning a Super Bowl. And there weren't 50,000 people cheering for them. And so because they don't appreciate their wins, they go to bed feeling like they're nobody. Wake up the next morning and feel like I'm not like everybody else because it looks like everyone else has it together. But no one really has their circumstance. So the effort they exerted to get to just regular was heroic. But they don't have that vision. And so as opposed to waking up in the morning and being like, it's hard, but like, I'm a Navy SEAL. They wake up in the morning, they're like, it's hard and I'm not enough. We spoke about this a while ago with people that are recovering. But they also don't realize that I find the people that recover from addiction, they don't fully understand the heroism because they're just getting back to where everybody else was. But they're not like everybody else. This concept of enjoying our wins. It's complicated because if you put too much on yourself, you're really knocking God out. A lot of the power that we have comes from God, right? That's where our power derives from. It's from the divine that's within us. Our abilities are God-given. If you put nothing to it, you don't have any strength. So when you go up against the wall the next time, as opposed to knowing that past that wall is this incredible taste of victory, and so it gives you the motivation to get through the wall, you don't have anything. All you have is pain or pain. I remember when I was trying to be more active in long distance running. And like, I remember like when you'd hit that wall, literally, that's what, for those who run, that's what they call it. They call it the wall. There's no wall, but they call it, you hit the wall. And I remember every time I'd go on a run, I'd hit a wall, whatever the wall would be, whenever I pushed myself. And I remember in my head saying to myself, like, when you hit this next marker, when you hit this place that, you're going towards, whenever you hit this milestone, you're going to enjoy it so much. You're going to be able to walk off the end. I'd be running in my neighborhood and I'd have in my, my app where I'd want to be done with. And, I'd hit my wall and be like, okay, I'm done. And my app would be like, no, you're not. Like, you still got like a mile to go. I'm like, a mile? Are you kidding me? I can't even drive a mile, but with the strength I have left. And all I'm thinking is, in a mile from now, I'm still going to be lost in my neighborhood, so that I'll walk it out. So the feeling of walking in where I was running, knowing that I hit my goal, is so enjoyable that I kept on thinking about that feeling. When I ran in those races, the feeling of crossing a finish line, the feeling of, if you go work out, I'm just using physical examples. The showering when you're done with a tough workout, a feeling of you're done. One time I had a trainer for a little bit. I had a buddy of mine who was a trainer. So he's like, come, I'll work out with you. So he worked out with me a little bit. And then at the end, he would stretch me. If you've ever been stretched by a trainer, it's awesome. Like that feeling of being like stretched at the end. There's a win. There's a moment where you appreciate what you've done. There's a moment where the work sort of settles in. You're not ready for the next thing yet. You're not like patting yourself on the back. You're not like raising your hand in triumph. You're just allowing the hard work to like settle into your heart. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that feeling you get where like when it's over, like you just breathe it in. Like you just like let it settle in a little bit. And without, again, if you're off a little bit and you let it make you arrogant, you're out. And if you don't do it at all and you keep on beating yourself up, you're out. That's what I'm saying. If you go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, you're out. But if you can find that space, which we'll try to explore together, of at the end of the wall, you just let what you did settle in. More from a place of gratitude that God gave you this capacity than from a place of arrogance. But when you let in the feeling of, I just did something really hard. I just broke down the wall. When you allow that to settle in, when you give yourself that moment, that cup of coffee, if you will, that's why you're always drinking coffee, that cup of coffee at the end of, you have a hard day, you do something difficult, and then when it's over, you sit down. This is why these moments of quiet is so critical in life. And I know that for some people, it's harder than others. For some people, they have too much quiet. And some people, they can never get a moment of quiet. But if you can steal a couple of moments of just silence at the end of your day, just to sit and let it settle in, just to let the day, don't analyze it, don't process it, don't fort, you just let it settle in. We talked about this, this is a world. We talked about this concept in the morning of talking to God. It's changed my whole life when I started doing it. You start your day for a few minutes, whenever your morning routine is, you have a conversation with him. This is called hitbodedut. It's really a practice that has been as ancient as we know it, but really brought back to life with the great Rabbi Nachman from Breslov. Spending the time alone with God in personal prayer, you and him alone, not like not just from a prayer book. Wherever you are, whatever your background is, sitting and speaking to God in your language. And that's amazing as you begin your day. It frames your day. It reminds you that you're connected to him. It reminds you to be deeper and more meaningful. It allows you to create a relationship with him. No question. There's also a piece of talking to God at the end of your day. And this is super powerful. And the way this was described to me years ago, as you're sitting basically and you're reviewing it almost like you're watching the film with your beloved, with God, not with another human being. You could do that too. You can catch up on your day with, your spouse or your friend or your parents. You could do that. But when you're catching up on your day with another person, you're balancing between patting yourself on the back all the time or complaining, and you get into that world. So that's all part of being a human being and being normal and having relationships and catching people up. It's all good. Yes, 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 yes. Period. Next page. There's also something very sweet about catching up on your day with God, where you're just, it's you and him. And you know that he gave you the strength. But you get to like either think about it or speak about it, but just to allow the day to sort of come and settle in a way in which you appreciate the effort that you put into your day. That mom who's got those kids that really need an enormous amount of help, and she is working tirelessly to give them a life, and it is exhausting for her. And nobody appreciates it because the kids don't appreciate it because they're not able to appreciate it. And for the rest of the world, take care of your kids. Like you don't get a medal for taking care of your kids. At the end of her day, in those few minutes, to just sit down wherever it is and just remember the effort that she put into a world that no one will know about, but she knows it and God knows it. And that's enough. That's enough. To sit down at the end of the day, even to think about how crazy it was that you picked up your kid after running 10 different errands and flying through 6 red lights so that he wouldn't have to wait on the street corner. And when you get there, all you got the whole way home is fetching and crying and whatever. He didn't appreciate it. Nobody appreciated it, but you ran like crazy for him. At the end of your day, you breathe it in. God saw it. That was amazing. You put someone before you. You should be proud of that. No one's going to know it, but God saw it. And you know it. You should be proud of it. You sat as a teacher and you're helping some student out and you couldn't get through with the student, and the parents do not appreciate it because they're unappreciative. But you see that kid, you feel for that kid. And out of your break, you help the kid out. At the end of the day, you sit down. Don't pat yourself on the back. God gave you that strength, but appreciate it. You see the difference? You see how hard it is to split that? I'm an amazing teacher. I'm an amazing parent. Versus I'm appreciative of the strength that God gave me. And I'm just going to enjoy for a moment that wall that I went through today. I'm not saying that I'm great. I'm not saying that I deserve. I'm just going to enjoy the workout. Because God puts us in workouts every day of our lives. And for many workouts, no one knows. Really, nobody knows. No, maybe a family member will pick it up. Maybe. But for most of us, nobody knows. That time where you sit in a room and someone says something and you want so badly to respond back. And if you did, you'd be right, but you hold it back because it's going to embarrass the person. And they're wrong. And you hold it back. And nobody knows it's in your head. Nobody knows anything, but you know. And God knows. And at the end of your day, you take a deep breath. If you were me, you take a cup of coffee. Not because I do this every day, because whatever it would be, it would have to include coffee. If you could just take out coffee and put in whatever you drink, a tea, a couch, I don't know, wherever it is that you could end your day, in bed as you're falling asleep. How about that? That's an easier one. In bed as you're falling asleep. And at the end of your day, you go, that was hard. God sent you a challenge. And sometimes the challenges, the challenges are major. I spoke to someone yesterday who's going through a terrible divorce. Terrible. Child support payments aren't coming in. She was once at the top economically, and now she's struggling. My heart broke for her. Broke for her. She's a hero. She's an absolute hero. Her husband's who knows what, prancing off with whoever, and she's taking care of the kids without the money, and he's not paying. Disaster. Disaster. End of the day, you put food on the table today. Let that settle in. You broke that wall. You broke that wall with dignity. With dignity. You're a hero. Just settle, let the workout settle in. And so many people are breaking walls every day. But what happens is they never take a minute to enjoy that they went through a tough workout. You have people that will like go to the gym for 10 minutes and like they'll be like, you know, for the rest of the day, like, I know it's such a hard workout. I mean, like, but like, you know, I did it. You know, I ran 1.5 miles. And then like you see other people who like really are breaking walls, are like breaking walls. They're overcoming stress and resilience, and they're really doing great things, but nobody knows because it's regular. It's not regular to them. People that are involved in situations that are beneath their spiritual level and have to constantly battle between feeling like you fit in versus doing what's right. You know how many times that happens? How many times you sit in a room and the people around you may not be doing the things that you approve of, but you feel stupid. You feel like you're the only one left out, and you want to. Who doesn't want to be accepted? Who doesn't want to be socially a part of something? But you have to battle. That's a wall. And you break through it. You stick to your guts. You do what's right. Get home sometimes alone. You let that settle in. You talk to God about it. You laugh with him. Like two friends reviewing tape after a football game. You and God going through your day. I can't believe that happened. We got through it. The more you let the day settle in, what will happen is your brain will start to pick up on real pleasure. There is very little things in this world that gives you more pleasure than overcoming challenge. Overcoming challenge is at the height of everything in the world that we want. That's why we watch sports. That's why we watch underdog movies. That's why we love stories of the rags to riches. It's all connected to tapping in that incredible pleasure of overcoming challenge. And when you look for it in every day of your life, and you take a moment at the end of the day, time to think, time to act. At the end of the day, you just let it settle in. You don't got to force it. You don't got to raise your hands in victory. You got to let yourself realize that you spend so much of your day overcoming challenge. That feeling starts to create neuro connections that looks for this challenge, that upgrades your pleasure and says, I want more of that. I want to go to bed at the end of every night and feel that. I want to feel that feeling of success, real success. So the next day that you're in front of that wall, you have more strength because you know you're going to the bed at the end of the night. And you want that so badly. You've started to create a whole world of neuro connections that exists right behind that wall. Okay, we'll talk about this. All right, everybody, just begin this. If you can tonight, try it. Try it. End of the day, cup of coffee, in bed, whatever. Let the day settle in. You and God. All right, we'll talk about it. Have an amazing day. And with God's help, I cannot wait to see you again mañana.